Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Giant Bomb. I'm Ryan Davis. We've got a exciting live show for you today. Joining me on the couch, Mr. Brad Muir and Mr. Greg Rice from Double Fine Productions. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Doing good, man.
You've come back,
Woo!
And for once, Brad, you're here to talk about a Double Fine game.
Yes, I'm here to talk about actually one of my.
Are you
games.
sure you wouldn't rather talk about Magic the Gathering?
We can totally talk about Magic, or like, do you have any game show games?
Did you watch Jeopardy last night?
No, I
We can
didn't.
talk about that.
I didn't, but I like Jeopardy.
Are you keeping up on Homeland? Any new TV shows?
No, I'm Walking Dead.
You find a new sandwich that you like or anything?
Oh, what is my favorite sandwich lately? I actually have this problem with my
I know he
tooth.
freezes up whenever I ask him questions. Like he's like, oh, I don't know.
That's a really tough one, though.
I
He's really
can't.
thick.
He thinks really hard about it, and
I
he
can't like bite
kind
into
of freaks
things
out.
really hard right now.
Texture is an issue. You have teeth problems going on.
I have tooth surgery coming. Let's not talk about that though.
Is that true?
But that's the inspiration
I've been
for this
cutting
project you're working on right
I've been cutting
now.
up a sandwich. It's real sad.
Oh, man.
It's cutting up a
Really
sandwich with a
small
knife
pieces?
and fork, because then people make fun of you. Have you
Yeah.
ever tried it? Just like in the lunchroom, try it next time.
Eating a
I'm just
sandwich
gonna-
with a fork?
I'm just gonna cut up my sandwich with a knife and fork, and then people make fun of
I
me.
just imagine just being this sad little break room
worst.
at Double Fine, like just like a little card table.
This is-
and
I
it's
didn't-
just Brad Muir sitting at it with like a plastic fork and knife. He's got like a
totally
hard.
happened.
He's got a hard roll. You can't
Yeah.
really get purchased
Yeah.
into it. Can't really like.
There's these.
And it
kind of
breaks.
Rub
And
it
it
back and
breaks.
forth. Rub it back and
that
forth.
French
yeah.
restaurant will give you this baguette sandwich that's amazing. Is that what we're here to talk
I
about?
can't even eat that,
sandwiches?
though. That's the hardest
Those
sandwich
are
in the world.
amazing. It is, but it's amazing, and it's like a whole baguette with a sandwich inside of it. I mean, actually, the whole thing's a sandwich, but like.
All
So the
right.
sandwich inside of the sandwich.
Baguette with a sandwich inside of it?
Off
Sort
to a
of.
good start here on
You
this
were doing great.
stream.
So other than cutting up sandwiches with a knife and fork, what
Yes.
have you guys been up to?
Amnesia Fortnite.
Amnesia
is what we've been up
Fortnite.
to.
yeah.
Number 4.
This will be Amnesia Fortnite number 4. Yeah.
So let's, Brad and Greg, if you want to interrupt each other a bunch, for folks at home who maybe aren't familiar with what Amnesia Fortnite means, what is this all about?
It's like our internal game jam that we do for 2 weeks. I'm going to talk about this first because I've worked
He's
there
done
way
more of
longer
them.
than Greg.
Okay.
It's true.
So it's like our internal game jam that we do for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Shut the company down, and then forget whatever you were working on.
So this is something you do kind of in the middle of other projects.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first one
You
was
guys
like,
take 2 weeks off from whatever else is going on at
Sure,
Double
your
Fine.
publishers really appreciate it.
well, you know,
Yeah, didn't the first one, they
we
didn't even know that this was happening
We
technically?
didn't use their money to do that.
the first
look,
one
I'm not
of these-
privy to the finances of the company. I don't know what's going on. Plausible
all the people
deniability.
that were in charge of those decisions are long gone, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But
Yes, that's very true.
2007
07, yes,
was
the
when
very
you guys
first
did
one.
the first one of these. This
Yeah.
was in the middle of developing Brutal Legend,
Yeah.
and guys needed a break, needed
Yeah,
something to kind
and
of
that
clear
was-
heads and just mix things up. Some of you guys have been working on Brutal for a really long time at that point.
It was we were like 2 years into it, and Tim just wanted it to be like this real like sort of creative, recharge the batteries, do something different.
So
like,
the company splits up to a bunch of small groups,
Yeah.
And a project head is assigned to each of those, and you have been heading
Yeah.
up teams on this.
Yeah,
on all 4 of these so
that's
far.
the very first one, 07. That was Iron Brigade came out of there.
Right.
Trenched came out of there actually, and it was called Custodians at the time. Custodians of the Clock, and Happy Song, which eventually became the Sesame Street game.
So a bunch
Fun
of
Monster.
actually published,
Yep.
produced.
Yep.
Costume Quest was another game that came out of an Amnesia
Yeah,
Fortnite.
the second one, Stacking and Costume Quest,
Right.
both came out of that one, and then the third one was last year, and this game that we're going to show you a bit later, Brazen, came out of AF3.
And Middle Man of
And
Justice.
Middle Manager of Justice came out of there. We experimented with some mobile stuff during AF3.
So you guys are about to kick off Amnesia Fortnite 4.
Yeah, so AF4 is all public, and I'm going to let Greg talk about that.
Yeah.
part
So
of
you guys are
it.
taking this and allowing the general public to peek in it and also be involved in the process.
Yeah, that's the idea. It kind of spawned out of the whole Kickstarter thing, and
Sure.
having the cameras around has been really awesome and being open with development there. So we wanted to try to do that again here with Amnesia Fortnite.
Right, because you guys already have, for Double Fine Adventure, you guys already have camera crew
Yeah.
in the office all the time shooting stuff.
why not more?
every
You guys
day,
have,
every
have
day.
gotten acclimated to
It's
your
true.
lives being on camera all the
Some
time.
of us
Yeah.
have.
It's weird how quickly that happens.
I have not.
It is weird. It
Why do
was,
you keep coming back here, man?
Oh,
Keep-
I
keep
just
finding
love
places where
looking
there are
into your
cameras.
eyes.
Yeah.
I just love looking
Doth
into your eyes.
protest
That's what an
too
addict
much.
says.
Yeah, so last week, a week ago on Monday, we opened it up. Let everybody from the company who wanted to pitch talk to Tim about what their pitch is, and we made 30-second videos for all of those.
Including yourself.
Including myself and Brad, and yeah, there's 23 in total, and all of those were on the Humble page, so you could go, pay to vote, and people got to vote on which ones were their favorites, and that happened over the last week, and then we cut that off on Monday and took the top 5 projects, and now starting tomorrow, we'll be making those, and we're going to live stream the whole thing. 2 players are going to be putting out videos every day about the progress, and then once they're finished in 2.5 weeks, they'll be available for download.
So you guys have a Amnesia Fortnite Humble Bundle up for sale right now.
Yep.
This is true.
What is what's the package? What's included in there? What
So
are
if you
people
go right
getting out
now,
of
you'll
that?
be able to get the Happy Song prototype, Costume Quest prototype, and the Brazen prototype if you beat the average. And those are both DRM-free downloads straight through Humble, and then also Steam codes if you'd like those. And then we'll be adding 2-player videos, both streamed and download codes for those, starting tomorrow. And then once the 5 prototypes are done, you'll be getting those too.
So you get all the other prototypes that are going to come out of
Yeah.
Amnesia Fortnite 4, plus these other
That's
prototypes
correct.
of previously published games in earlier forms.
So we're hoping to try to kind of show what these might look like, set some expectations, and then hopefully make some more awesome prototypes.
And you guys at Double Fine have been gracious enough to also provide the Giant Bomb audience at home with 10 free Humble Bundle codes.
That is correct.
For the Double Fine Amnesia Fortnite Humble Bundle. We have those. Here they are.
Oh shit! Are you just really gonna?
Oh
you're
my
just
God!
so
Go!
There.
Go!
Oh my God! Did someone have to type that in?
Yep.
That is a lot of.
So
work.
if you manage to grab one of these,
I would go for number 9. I feel like that's going to be the least used.
I like that, number 9.
Try and download Brazen, and then we'll try and get you in at the
totally
end
play
so
with
that
you.
you
That
can
would be
play with
awesome.
us.
Yeah. So if you get one of these, download it through. This all goes through Steam, right?
Steam or straight downloads, but yeah, you'll play online in Steam.
Yeah, we'll play online with Steam. So get this into Steam, and we'll be playing. I guess, are we giving out your information?
Yeah, I guess we are.
Already
we
did.
had to.
Yeah. Mr. Mooier, MRMOO.
Do it up. Just give it away.
EAR is his Steam name. Send a friend request. It's already been
My list
dogpiled, but we'll see
is-
if we can squeeze some extra folks in. So while people continue to soak up the last of these, that's probably good. Let's clear that off the screen.
You got your audience is a sponge. They'll
Well,
get
everyone
that, right?
is very rapidly.
Look at these guys. I mean, there's
They're
already
all
people.
already used.
Yeah.
Give us a little
crazy.
setup about Brazen. Tell us, I guess, a little bit about the genesis
Yeah.
on this.
So, like-
is there anyone that we should be giving shouts outs to
for this?
Brazen?
Yeah, absolutely. Like before, so we were working on Iron Brigade, and we're sort of coming down the home stretch on that sucker. And it was trenched at the time.
It was French.
So I'm gonna call it trenched.
So long.
So it was trenched at the time, and
You keep bringing that up.
I know I do. I'm
We could
sorry.
all move on past it at this point. I'm totally
He'll
fine
never
just
move
calling
on.
it Iron Brigade. Like it was weird for a little bit, but
Okay, I'll try that. I'll try to
Brigade.
get on board with that. Iron Brigade. Yeah, so we're getting on Iron Brigade.
in fact, I recently deleted Trenched off of my Xbox
that's
because
so
I realized
sad.
I had
Just-
Trenched and Iron Brigade still on there,
Yeah, that
and I
was.
needed the space.
That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's that's absolutely not supposed to happen.
Well, you
But
guys
that's
changed
fine.
the icon even
Yeah.
Yes, you should
at,
get
at a certain point. I
It
don't know
should
when
be.
that happened.
It should be an icon.
No, but it wasn't
now,
even just the
right?
eye.
Should be a. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that, but the actual art,
Brad
the
joke.
design on it.
Oh man.
Fuck you. Fine, show us this
Yep.
game. I don't care.
Okay, so it was during that game, and Jeff Solis.
He's opening himself to some mean jokes, but we'll
Jeff
let him keep going.
Solis.
Jeff Solis.
Jeff
shout
Solis.
out
Shout out to Jeff Solis.
to
He's
Lousy
with us right now.
Fishmonger.
Lousy Fishmonger, and he was the lead artist. Super great. One of my best friends at Double Fine. He's been there forever, longer than me.
Yeah.
But he's a big Monster Hunter fan.
Okay.
And he dragged me kicking and screaming into the Wii release of Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter Tri.
Monster Hunter Tri. And I got super, super fucking hooked on that game.
Okay.
And we played the shit out of Monster Hunter. And
She said, let's rip that game off.
so
Yeah.
Monster Hunter has a couple of problems.
Only a couple.
If you've ever played Monster Hunter,
Yes.
you may know that it has a few problems, like really steep learning curve.
It's got a camera.
It has some crazy camera issues. It
does.
has.
It never explains any of its like billion
tutorialization
systems
is,
to
like,
the-
rough.
You're bitching
It's-
about Assassin's Creed 3's systems
Yeah,
earlier
that's-
today,
Yeah.
and then
Monster
saying how
Hunter-
much you love Monster Hunter.
So.
Also, the game, the
it's an
series has
online
never
game on the
really
Wii.
embraced online to the degree that like the West has in general.
It's got some issues, right? Like,
well, I mean, yeah, like Monster Hunter is kind of first and foremost wildly popular in Japan on the PSP, where people are playing it ad hoc, just sitting in weird circles in Tokyo's subway stations.
Yeah. So I mean, the idea was like, man, this is like such a great. They have such an awesome core here of like we're cooperatively fighting this big, huge monster together, and we're gonna beat the crap out of it. And
I just want to say, like, at its core, Monster Hunter is fucking completely fantastic.
It's amazing.
Like,
it's great.
There's a lot of really compelling, really interesting things.
They're super
in the middle of it, but
super deep, like tactical brawling about like really having to think before you attack. Watch the monster for its like tells and like all these different things that are great, but
then the controls are horrible.
There's just like
and having to like dive and then make the camera spin behind you to actually hit the guy, and you swing, and there's animation priority.
But the thing about that is though, like having recently played like Zombie U, I've come to understand why does animation priority is actually a design choice that is interesting and increases risk.
Once you push through it as the player and you start to get it, and you stop playing Monster Hunter like you play God of War, where you're just sort of like mashing, and then sort of like, oh, you see something and you'll just flick the stick. And
the game is prioritizing every button press as opposed to your
like
original
sort of
button press.
Consequence free, and you're just dodging out of the way. Like that's a gameplay style that exists, and it's fine, it's great. But if you try to play Monster Hunter in that way, you will not really be met with a lot of success.
I think Zombie U is not a bad example, but I think Demon Souls and Dark Souls, like that's probably the touchstone that people recognize as
my game of the year last year
as being like successful kind of approaches to that style of gameplay.
Yeah. So it was really like trying to take that and embrace it and try to westernize it a little bit, and then also provide a different aesthetic. And for me, the Ray Harryhausen movies are like, I absolutely love those. Jason the Argonauts, the original Clash of the Titans,
Clash of the Titans,
and the Sinbad movies. Those are like the ones that I really looked at. They have like this awesome sense of adventure. There's like dudes going on quests and like fighting these cool mythical beasts and stuff.
Like what is the time to sword wielding skeleton in this game?
We did not specifically put sword-wielding skeletons in the prototype.
So you're saying that you were
not
that...
You gotta leave something for the full game.
So you're saying you were not that brazen
No, we're
about
not that brazen, yes. Yes. If I had a hat, I would do this to you, and then we could move on.
Doff your cap.
But yeah, like I absolutely love those movies. They're like really inspirational to me. I totally dig them, and where was I going with that?
So
love them. And I was like, what if we combined, Monster Hunter, but we're like fighting these crazy stop motion creatures in this world that really feels like that kind of classic Hollywood fantasy kind of world. And then we'll try to clean it up and make it as presentable, and have a tutorial, nice difficulty ramp, all these things, make it really accessible to a Western audience, and show people what's awesome about Monster Hunter.
So we're going to look at a prototype of Brazen. Is this something that's going to see more development? What's the... Because I know some of the stuff you guys are...
Would you like it to see more development?
Are showing...
I haven't seen
how
it yet.
would I express that?
I'm not going to preemptively say
yes. The best thing that people can do is like play it and talk about it on the internet.
Okay.
Because there are people that like watch
How about
that
a petition?
stuff.
You like petitions? Internet petitions.
I would say steer away from an online petition.
What if I started?
I don't think that those have ever really done much of anything.
Well, what if I started like a
WhiteHouse.gov
Kickstarter to get people to submit money?
I like where you're going with this.
So that I can go on vacation.
Okay. I still like where you're going with this. And are you going to play Brazen on your vacation?
And I'll take you with me.
And then tell people,
nice. There we go. You and me, we're going to take a private vacation.
Where do you want to go?
This just became very romantic.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm in.
Strange twist. People were not expecting this.
I was not aware of that.
I wasn't. Even when I started that sentence, I didn't know where it was going.
Where can I donate?
I think there's definitely a lot of people at the studio that would like to make the game. So I
just want to be clear because
I mean that's the hope of putting it out, was that like people would get to see it, get to play it. Hopefully they like it. If so, like let us know, and maybe we can keep working on it.
Yeah.
Is the end game for this? For Amnesia Fortnite 4, for Amnesia Fortnite, is the end game of this to take one of these projects and turn it into a full-fledged released game, as has kind of been the fate of prior Amnesia Fortnites, or is it a little more malleable than that right now?
I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. Like we have, there are several games that came out of AF3 that are awesome and that we could be showing off, and
But as far as the Humble Bundle goes, I just want to make sure we're not overpromising or being unclear about what folks are getting out of this part of the process.
Yeah, you're gonna get a prototype, which is you want to,
set your expectations.
All of these are going to be prototypes.
Yep.
Yes.
That you're going to get as part of the Humble Bundle. So
and this
calibrate expectations accordingly.
Yes. And so what you really should be looking, if you're really worried about the expectation stuff, you should really look at the Happy Song and the Costume Quest prototypes. Those are 2 weeks and that's it. The Brazen prototypes, this is 2 weeks and then maybe a month that we had leading up to this AF4. Where there were some people rolling off of the cave, rolling off of some other projects, and we decided to put this in as the beat the average thing. So I was like, yeah, it should really look a little bit nicer than it does if we're gonna have it be the beat the average thing. So this is sort of like more of a prototype plus.
Okay.
I think that you would see.
How much, like just time-wise, how much time would you say has gone into the Brazen prototype specifically?
Probably 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had your initial 2 weeks in the fortnight, and then
and then we took that and we sort of we redid a lot of the art for this.
It came out with something pretty similar though, right? Like it had a couple classes and it had the same monster. We just kind of did a polish pass on the art and got the multiplayer working and some of the HUD and stuff in there.
But again, to be clear, this is the product of 5 or 6 weeks of development time.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
And for the time being, that's what it's going to be.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
And I hope that we get to continue it in the future because it's an idea that I think has a shitload of legs.
Yeah.
Like it's a very expandable kind of thing. So the
vivid imagery.
The concept is that you'll be aboard the deck of this big giant ship in between missions. Does this stop me if you've heard this before?
It sounds entirely original to me.
But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So these giant, almost like pirate ship kind of things that are at sea, and you'll have a bunch of players. I really want it to be sort of the next generation of the Iron Brigade ship. So that was only 4 players. Like I want it to be a lot more. Have about 100 people milling about on this gigantic ship. You'll be forming parties there, deciding what mission you're going to take, and then you'll be sailing off to one of these islands to fight one of these creatures.
Why don't we jump in?
That sounds awesome. Let's see what it actually is.
And then this is what you will actually do.
As opposed to Brad Muir's dream.
I
was going to ask you.
It's going to be so good.
We just leapt in here, but we're going with a party of 4 players.
Party of 4.
And we've got some different classes. Obviously, we just jumped in and didn't get a chance to
sure. So you'll see
over some of those.
3
what are
characters.
You going to be playing as?
So this is the Stalwart class, which is our more defensive class. Oh no, what's happening?
Is there a?
This is.
Is there a
prototype?
Is there a comparable
prototype?
All right, let's bring it back to the studio and try running that again. Prototype, folks.
Prototype.
There you go.
We didn't have time to work out
It was sitting there idling for a long time.
It does seem to be where we've run into issues. There might be a memory leak in your game.
There could be.
Who do I talk to at Microsoft about that? What's the?
Why would you say that? Why would you say that? But hey, this gives us a chance to talk about this. So the Stalwart is a guy. He's more of a defensive class.
Is there a comparable kind of class for shorthand's sake?
I mean, I don't really want him to be like a tank. We're trying to actively stay away from your sort of standard fantasy trope of hopefully this works of a very tank-like character. Oh, is this really not going to work? This is awesome.
Oh, man, it was.
Brad,
we literally tried. It was working before.
Was this running before?
Yeah, it was.
Played it.
All right.
Let's reboot the system.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see if the single player works.
Yeah, let's just jump into a solo game there. Before we get too crazy here.
In the meantime, Brad, you want to pass me Patrick's laptop so I can, or I guess Patrick need to log into it.
Okay, got that. So I don't really want him to be like a tank. He's more like a dude that has defensive capabilities that fights with a big giant shield.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we have the Waracle, which is.
So are we doing this single player right now?
Yeah, single player right now.
But you'll still have your party with you.
So we should notice that Steam has been having issues all afternoon. You can't redeem keys, so we might be getting people into the game, and then when it tries to get the online game running,
sure,
that there is a good chance that is what's happening.
Prototype.
Also, we have like hundreds of people giving you friends requests.
I think that we are. That's awesome. I'm really glad to have all these friends on Steam because I never really have. Okay, so this mission you're going to be fighting the Gorgoth, and this is so that's the name of this two-headed giant snapping turtle.
So I like the stuttery look, which I have to imagine is actually more difficult to pull off than you would think.
That's the thing that's super crazy about this is that the actual I feel like we have to make it look good, and then we have to go the extra mile to make it look bad again.
But you want to make it look bad in a very specific way.
Yep.
So first off, sense of scale of your enemies. That's clearly a big Monster Hunter.
Yep. Where you're going to be fighting these large guys. Block this tail swipe here.
All right. So are we still playing as the stalwart here?
Yeah. So this is the stalwart.
So he's a little heavier. He's got his big old shield on there. What's his weapon of choice?
The shield.
It's just the shield.
Oh, it's the shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got some shield bashes, and then it's got a big blade on the end, and you're able to kind of throw it at the creature. And then there's also some really nice. See if you can get some of this.
So, Brad, what did you do on this? Did you do a bunch of combat stuff, or was that mostly John?
John, actually, new hire John Swisshelm from Naughty Dog.
Yeah, he did Uncharted 3 melee combat.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
He just joined the studio very recently, and he's been great. Jumped right in and helped us out on the Plus prototype. And Jeff has done a lot of work on this. Jeff Solis.
Yep.
Lead artist on Iron Brigade. He did a ton of the art. We also had the art director from The Cave, Andy Wood, jumped over and helped us out. It was really just a lot of people that are coming off of.
I see a nice kind of film grain effect going on in the background there.
Yeah, we're trying to capture as much of the Ray Harryhausen stuff as possible, from those old movies.
What Clockwork
cards
Birds? That is a popular question from the chat.
Clockwork Birds, I'm for them. We don't have any in the demo, but I
feel like that's like your campaign standing of just mechanical birds, Clockwork Birds. I'm for them.
Yeah, I'm for them.
My opponent has said things
my
about
detractors are really against Clockwork Birds, but I am absolutely for
But I grew up in America,
so
where everyone wanted a Clockwork Bird of their own.
So having these big
those hand-painted backgrounds are fucking
in the
awesome.
background, and this is really rough. Derek Brand, really awesome artist at Double Fine. He jumped in.
So what's this monster over here? He's eating this other one?
So this is a leopard crab wolf beast. That can you see? So it's like a giant wolf with crab parts on the front, and it has leopard modeling. It's awesome. We just we threw that thing in there to sort of be like a sign of things to come, I was hoping that people would notice that thing and be like, what?
Well, it seemed like he was chomping on it. Was he gaining health back from that or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just to show you.
Oh!
Time!
Oh man, it knocked you all the way back.
Yes, we have a little bit of a physics bug.
Hey, look, you stayed in the world. I think in terms of bugs, that is, you stayed in the world.
You stuck the landing.
In Costume Quest, you can get out of the world in that prototype.
So this is all still based on the Brutal Legend engine, right?
This is absolutely using the Brutal technology, yeah.
And,
and
perhaps
all of our games have done that.
Perhaps some Brutal assets?
I think that we've removed almost
there were
all
some
of
in
them.
the 2-week prototype.
In the original 2-week prototype, there were some.
Nice.
So I have to imagine, you talk about developing a playable prototype. Obviously, making a full game, there's so much more that has to go into that. Fleshing out the overall systems and just content generation, but being able to produce anything in 2 weeks, I have to imagine
huge
that you are just kind of
you try to figure out ways
you are slacking together what's going to work in a pinch just to
with
show
stacking,
the point.
Didn't Lee take a bunch of the Brutal Legend code for doing the co-op moves to use for the stacking of characters?
The whole being able to do those maneuvers with your different units, that code was hugely beneficial to the stacking team for that. So yeah, there's all sorts of, it's kind of like a Frankenstein's monster of different.
Dude, you need a health potion.
I know. So yeah, we've tried to capture a lot of the stuff that. Okay. Get the potion. Okay, get another one.
One of the things I always heard about the Monster Hunter games was the way you would try and get around its learning curve was to have a mentor.
Yes.
You know, if you have somebody that knows the game, that can guide you through that first frustrating 10 hours before it clicks. And it seems like it's something you were trying to address with this is like, do we need to have that 10-hour gap?
I feel like I always use Punch-Out to describe some of my feelings about Monster Hunter, and I feel like Monster Hunter they throw you right in against Piston Honda, right out of the gate, right? And I think that you really need a Glass Joe in order to like
you need a Patsy. You need somebody to take the fall.
You need a Glass Joe, and then you need a Von Kaiser, and then maybe you can actually like get people into the game without without too much trouble.
Right.
Nice.
So and this is something we want to do. Have these cool like big game hunter shots when you actually like kill the thing and you're actually
that is a nice touch. That is a really nice touch.
Like this really speaks to the whole aesthetic of the games that I really want to have that like so Dynamation was Harryhausen's technique that he used for getting live actors in with his stop motion
stuff.
Somehow I
feel like that little screen there evoked more because I realize it's prototype, but that right there evokes what you're trying to go for.
That's
better than anything else in there.
I feel like that gets across the tone of the game so much. Is that like another big thing that I'm going for that also comes across in that is the like jovial feeling. I use that. I don't know why I keep using that word. Cross your fingers. Yeah, hopefully this works.
Let's see.
All right, so we're gonna try Warricle as our next class here. Oh, it doesn't seem to like the multiplayer.
I think that what I think we should do is we should invite some Double Fine people. Because we got into a game with Mr. Swisshelm.
Maybe we should close Steam and relaunch Steam.
Weird.
But I feel like there's a lot of not as much anymore, but a lot of like anti-hero stuff and a lot of like grimdark, sort of gritty bullshit in video games. I think.
Sure.
And just having characters that are like kind of excited and stoked and happy to be like doing this job of like fighting these big beasts. They're like super excited to like go on the adventure and go fight the things. I really want to have that
less
come
the
across
hero's burden.
And more like almost like the hero's privilege.
Sure.
Like where you really get to go fight these things and you get to do all this stuff. And I think that having them pose in sort of cool ways on the creature and like they're really stoked that they just killed it. Having that mixed with like that the awesome topography of like those old movies and stuff. Like I think I think it's a winning combination, Ryan Davis. That's what I would say.
The Monster Hunter games are largely like boss battle to boss battle. You go back to town. There's not a whole lot of like the traditional adventure, like going to like a location where you're fighting lower enemies, and then you get to a boss. Like, did you have a vision of moving past that structure into something more traditional, or wanting to keep that?
I feel like that structure is one of the things that's the most successful about Monster Hunter, and I want to keep that as much as possible. There's things that I do want to change about it, though. Like I think that. The fights are maybe a little bit too long, or at least they're not as varied as I would like. If you fought a creature a couple times, it takes you a few times to really like learn its behavior, and that's really good. But after that, it's sort of set. I think adding more randomness and also player-controlled difficulty is something that I'm really interested in doing for it. And by that, what I mean, so fighting this Gorgoth, imagine that you can, if you bring a lot of like slashing weapons or specific weapons and attack its tail specifically, you could slice its tail off, and then it's actually going to sprout 3 new tails. And then with those tails, it can pick up pieces of the environment and throw it at you, say. So now you've got the creature can randomly move throughout the bigger environment. And then if you've kind of triggered this state, it'll, based on where it goes, it'll be able to like grab different stuff and throw it at you. So you've got the players sort of deciding that they're going to make the game. Okay, sweet. So yeah, you've got the players sort of deciding that they're gonna. What did I just do? I'm really bad at multitasking. So hopefully this just works and we're all set.
Password success.
Yeah!
Good job, man.
But yeah, it's like so the players are sort of deciding themselves to make it harder by like cutting the tail off and adding this extra challenge into the mission, into fighting the Gorgoth. But then I think at the end of it, you're going to be able to like get more rewards out of it. You'll be able to carve more parts out of it and then make cooler hats out of its triple tail parts.
Kind of one of my choke points with the Monster Hunter games has always been like it is this, like there's just a quest in and of itself just to like find the monster you're looking for, like the hunt, obviously.
Yeah.
Of just like, okay, I'm looking for this specific creature, got to go find it. Okay, I'm in this encounter with this creature, and I just get worked over. And like, just the process of trying to bounce back from that of like, okay, crap, where's my stuff? What stuff do I need? Do I have resources to get new stuff to replace the stuff that I had? Is that something that you think about addressing for?
What are you talking about specifically? That you're like wasting resources every time you go out and like?
Yeah, of just like you like it exhausts so much just to get there that when it goes bad,
we did it.
We're in.
We did
it. Oh my god.
We tried it with 3.
We're gonna play a multiplayer. Fantastic.
Oh, and are we with a different class again, or?
We are.
I think that I did switch it.
Yeah, I did. The Waracle?
The Waracle, yeah. So with the Waracle, you know, we wanted a ranged melee hybrid. That's what I was looking for, because the pure range, like these creatures are really fun to fight in melee combat. And Monster Hunter has a couple of range classes that they have like a bow and a giant crossbow and things like that.
Right.
But they're not the most compelling things to play, I don't think. Like sitting back and plunking away at the monster is not, I don't think it's as interesting as it could be. So what I wanted to do was have a hybrid. And so we discussed a bunch of different ways like to do that, but what we landed on is the character, this Waracle, who worships there's a god for every single different kind of weapon out there, and the Waracle worships all of them, and you'll be able to select in your quiver which melee weapons you want. So what we prototyped up in this, you have a spear, you have an axe, and you have a mace, and you can switch those whenever you want. And they all have different attacks. They all have different melee attacks, so I'm probably going to get hit here. That's great. Pretty good at talking and playing at the same time, you guys.
Welcome to our job.
It's way harder than it looks.
I just want to say also real quickly, because I just noticed it for the first time in that cutscene, seeing the cutscene for the second time, Wilhelm Scream being included there.
Totally
another good touchstone.
I mainly put it in there just to annoy my audio guy, Brian Min. Shout out. He fucking hates it, but I love it. And
I'm a huge fan. It was one of the first pages I built on Giant Bomb was the Wilhelm Scream.
Yeah, it's amazing. And
someone who's watching this, go and add Brazen to the Wilhelm Scream concept page.
That's interesting. Oh, are you moving that mouse around?
Yeah, that was me. Sorry.
That's okay.
I've got 2 keyboards. I went to go move mouse on the laptop.
So the concept with the Waracle is that you have all these melee weapons that you can switch between, but then you can also choose to fire them out of your bow. So you carry your bow the whole time.
Your fat mace.
And the different weapons will have different effects when you shoot them out of the bow. So if I switch over to this to the spear, it's like you can charge up the spear and then fire it, and it'll do like a spread shot.
Okay, but you're not having to go and like grab it back out of the monster or anything crazy.
You just got
you can
got
see
this huge quiver, and you know they're just whatever.
It's
a magic quiver
with his knee right now.
And then the axe. This is my favorite.
It was given to you by the gods.
Of course. We need to have god-like
all the
weaponry.
cool shit has to come from the gods.
So the axe totally flips. It like spins when you shoot it out of the bow, and it causes the monster to bleed over time when it sticks into him. And then the mace can cause stunning damage if you hit it in the head. Let's see if we can hit the Gorgoth in the head. You can actually stun it. So it's just like, again, like. You know, a lot of customization opportunities, like picking what's going to be in your quiver, like what are the three weapon arrows that you're going to take into the fight, and you know, we'll have different. There was a lot of that in Iron Brigade that we did, where you know, there's different strengths and weaknesses from the different enemies, and you have to be like planning ahead with your team and things like that.
Well, it's kind of why I love the Halo games so much is that I'm not a huge fan of first-person shooters, but Halo's more of a puzzle. You know, like the weapons you bring in, the way the enemies react. Plays more like a puzzle game that's wrapped into this action style, and that's what I've always found super appealing. Like Ryan said about the core of Monster Hunter, even if the learning curve is not something that I found myself, at least in my own like free time, when it's like, what do I want to do with the 3 hours I have tonight? Like invest 3 of the 10 into Monster Hunter. But the idea of this puzzle game is really appealing.
I feel like seeing this that I'm now figuring out.
Like when you see someone playing it right,
I'm figuring out the Brad Muir like game design process. Like now that I've seen Iron Brigade and this, no, it's good. But just seeing like what the inspiration is, what are the things that catch Brad Muir's eye, and then
you can see how
he
wants to incorporate those pieces into the game.
I've never really thought about it too much, but somebody came walking by my desk while I was playtesting. It was actually this character. I was playtesting it, and they were like, "What?" They're like, "Wait, do you have like a mace? Wait, did you just switch to?" Yeah, I was like, "Switch to axe. Are you firing that axe out of your bow?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm firing that axe out of my bow!" And they're like, "Oh, I see. So it's just like the melee version of Iron Brigade that you're making." And I'm like, "Well, maybe. Like, shut up, go away." But yeah, I like also this guy Raz Sigbalvian, one of the guys at Double Fine, been there forever.
Yeah,
and I feel like he's my own personal muse. He's totally ridiculous and awesome, and I love the guy, and he's a great artist. And
there he goes.
He was like, his phrase is ridiculous badass. It's just ridiculous badass, man. That's what he sounds like.
That is what
he sounds like. It's just exactly like totally ridiculous badass, right?
Triple post.
Oh man, that's good.
And like, I'm really drawn to things that are like over the top and ridiculous, but also very like not self-referential. Like of course I'm shooting this axe out of my bow. Like, duh. That's what you should do. Just
there's no like ironic buffer between like the inspirational source and the application.
No.
It's just like, no, we love this. We think it's fucking awesome that he's shooting the axe out of the bow.
Yeah, of course. And why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you could, just do it. Look how awesome it is. And yeah, that's like, I do think if I have any kind of style in terms of the games that I want to make and play, it's like that's.
So this does also bear at least a certain conceptual likeness to one of your Amnesia Fortnite 4 submissions, which did not make.
That's a dagger. That's
do you want to talk about it? I know. I want to.
I don't think he does.
I mean,
you want to talk about your crazy kaiju monster battle?
Yeah, Kaiju Pile Driver is what it's called.
Kaiju Pile Driver, which
I wanted to.
I'm bummed because that's a great fucking name, and I like the concept also.
Yeah, War of the Monsters, man. King of the Monsters.
King of the Monsters. Yeah, it was. The idea was to combine King of the Monsters with a roguelike. So I've been
again. I feel like the Brad Muir game design philosophy. I want to combine Ray Harryhausen and Monster Hunter. I want to combine a roguelike and Godzilla.
Yep. Yeah, and that's I love.
Iron Brigade. I want to combine pulp comics with wave based.
Yeah, tower defense.
Third person shooter.
All right, you should probably talk about what this guy is.
We should talk about this. So this is the third character class that I really like. This is the Berserker. So the idea about the Berserker is that he's sort of like this drunken prototype. He's sort of like a drunken Viking berserker kind of guy.
Yeah.
But he fights with we call them Warsteins. Let me see if I can get in here and
look at those things. They're like brass knuckles.
So those are his Warsteins, and he fights very terribly. Can you get some space bar over here? I'm getting some weird. I'm not able to evade, which is or attack. Prototype. Click the left mouse button a little bit. Can you get a little? There you go. I think that you've fixed it. Okay. So the idea behind the Berserker is that he, when he's sober, I don't know if you can see the beer meter under the health up there.
Yeah.
So when it's in that lower, like 20%, you are sober, and he can only like walk around, and he's kind of bored, and his punches are like shitty, and he's just like kind of
not into it.
Doesn't really want to be there.
So there's no advantage to being in that state.
No, none whatsoever.
Being sober is bad.
He's just got these like really bad. Yeah, being sober is terrible. This is the great lesson that I'm applying. Okay, so
you're not gonna have fun. You're not gonna be as good at it.
You're not gonna be good. You're gonna be very ineffective. You're gonna be terrible. So
no one else is gonna like you.
So you can hold the trigger and you drink, and so we want to get it up into this. I call this the buzz zone, right here. In between those two things.
Is that what it says on the design doc?
It does. And so now, you've got a little bit more effective punches. When you dodge, you actually attack while you dodge.
You got more reach there, nice. Too. So you got a little dash at it.
Yeah, a little bit more reach. And so you want to sort of, like, the idea is that you want to get in and do a bunch of damage and then get out and have a drink and keep doing that. So then you can also get it up into the drunk zone up here. So now you start running super fast. You still got the same like really good dodges, and then you've got like this kind of super stupid drunken 5-hit combo that does a shitload of damage, and that's what you want to, like, really you want to be doing that as much as possible.
So, well, let's get in here and
do the drunk zone.
Do some damn damage.
And doing some damage. But you want to be careful because
can you go too far? You drink too much?
You can drink too much, and when you drink too much,
what happens?
You're going to just...
Yeah!
You're gonna and then you lose it all and you revert to a sober state. So it's sort of like, you know, we talk a lot about like active reloading and like, you know, it's basically active reloading with beer, which I think is I don't know, just a better version of that.
You know, I was sitting here watching you play this, and I was sort of like in the back of my head thinking like, you're waiting for like the distinct like Double Fine touch.
Yeah.
Because so far it's like, okay, like I see like this is the product of Brad's passions, like unequivocally. But there's always a little like personality, a little quirk, a little, you know, kind of non-sequitorial touch that lets you know, like, oh yes, this is a Double Fine game, and I think I found it.
You know, I think that was during Iron Brigade. Like, I learned a lot about, and actually, I think we as a studio learned a lot about, like, well, what is a Double Fine game? Like, if Tim is not going to be making every game at the studio, what makes them?
What's the voice?
What makes them Double Fine games? And I think it's that for me, like, a lot of it has to do with just like being creative, being different, and also like trying to be a little off kilter and a little almost like silly, just having a lot of personality. And I think that
Berserker, that's pretty good.
I think that stuff like the Berserker can do it. And this idea started out as just like I was like, yeah, like we have a very defensive kind of character. I was like, I want to have a really like kind of balls to the wall offensive type character. So we were gonna have like a oh, what is happening over here? Okay, so this dude fell over.
Revive him?
Yeah, so in Monster Hunter, I think it's really crappy that when you fall over, you eat one of the shared lives for the entire team.
Yeah.
And then you respawn at the base. And that's really bad because if you have somebody that's not like still learning the game, they can sort of burn all of your lives Contra style.
Yeah.
And just like sort of ruin the experience for everybody. And I think that's and then, you know, you have a lot of that like, oh, like, you noob, get out of here. And there's like a lot of like, it breeds a lot of bad feelings. And
well, no,
I don't think it's a very good system.
I think it's very much, it shows off.
This is my favorite thing to do, by the way, is to just puke right, just puke on. Oh man, I missed it.
Not fast enough. Oh! Awesome. It's emblematic of kind of the you know, not being kind of new user friendly. That to me sums up a lot of Monster Hunter of just like, no, there's nothing about this that's going to kind of, you know, guide in a new player and show them what's going on. It's like, no, at every turn, if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, you're not just a detriment to yourself, but you're a detriment to everyone else that's trying to play with you.
And, you know, we tried really hard on Iron Brigade to make that not the case. And, you know, with this game, absolutely, like, you should just be able to only help as... Oh, that was really gross.
Very good.
Jeez. That was really gross. I don't know where that came from. I just kind of burped in this really weird...
Too much beer.
I know. Yeah, it was maybe watching all that beer.
Virtual beer, too much for you. Yeah, let's. I think we've given a pretty good show to Brazen here. Again, that's part of the Double Fine
Amnesia
Fortnite Humble Bundle.
Yep.
HumbleBundle.com
/double-fine.
/double-fine.
Yeah.
You can go there and get yourself that. And again, that's going to include the 3 other prototypes, as well as Brazen, and then the upcoming prototypes.
Yeah. 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
5 of them when we're done, yeah. And you'll see videos every day of progress and
the games are awesome too.
Yeah, they turned out really well.
What are the top 5? What ended up making the cut?
So
I'm sorry.
Hack and Slash.
Hack and Slash.
So that's Brandon Dillon, programmer on Reds.
Yep.
And so that's like Zelda 1, where you can actually hack the components of the game. It's basically like, imagine Zelda 1, but you get a keyboard instead of a sword, and then you can like go in and like hack on the code that's actually running the game.
Okay.
So that's going to be super interesting to see where that goes, because it's like kind of a weird concept, but I think it's going to be super awesome.
We've got Space Base DF9.
So that's JP Le Breton.
Yeah.
Am I saying that correctly?
That's right. Yeah,
that's how I like to say
he's
it.
a designer on Cave, and before that was on BioShock and BioShock 2.
Yeah, and that's basically sci-fi Dwarf Fortress or Startopia.
Okay.
And so that one's gonna be really interesting because you've only got 2 weeks. Dwarf Fortress is a 5, 6, 7 year project. I don't know how long.
Yes,
they've
but
been
he has
working on
Nathan
that.
Martz.
But he's got Nathan. Yeah, so like that, I expect that's gonna be super awesome when it comes out the other side. The White Birch.
Yeah.
That's game 3. That's Andy Wood, art director of The Cave. So yeah, White Birch is kind of like an ambient platforming game, like Eco and Journey. Those are like his prime influences for that. And I'm expecting it to be like totally gorgeous. And
yeah,
I think that one is going to be. It's interesting because I think all these AF games have different goals. Like that one's going to be more about setting a mood, setting the tone.
Yeah.
Just like he talked a lot about in his pitch to the teams. He talked a lot about the audio space of the game, making sure that so I think that's just going to be
and ultimately it's a cool idea too. Like the end game is reaching the top of this tree and getting a prize from the tree. So it's kind of like always in sight. You're trying to climb this giant tower and reach the top of the tree and see what.
He talked a lot about multiple playthroughs, and I think he's got a lot of really good ideas for that. Number 4 is Autonomous. That's actually the team I'm on, so Autonomous plug.
Okay.
That's Lee Petty, guy who, art director of Brutal Legend and project lead of Stacking.
Right.
And art director on Reds, right? And he's really handsome.
Yes.
So, but he's short.
And inappropriate too.
But I'm really excited to actually. I haven't worked with him since Brutal Legend, so I'm really, really stoked to be working on the game. But the basis for that is that it's this sort of sandboxy Tron junkyard kind of game where you're building these robots out of parts that you find in the environment, and then you're flipping the switch. There's some sort of loose kind of dip switch programming that you do in their head, and then you turn them on, and you can't control them after that, and they just kind of run around the environment, and it's.
So you're going to set up some basic kind of behavior stuff in the robots before you send them out,
and then you're going to flip the switch on them, and
hopefully
see
they
what
do what you want them to do.
Yeah, and so the protagonist will be kind of weak. It's a first-person game, and you'll be building these robots, and hopefully they'll be doing what you want to actually get through it. And then
Black Lake.
5 is Black Lake. So that's Levi Ryken, senior artist. So he's been at Double Fine for a long time, since Brutal Legend. And fantastic artist, and he's actually been working on the art for this game and sort of the concept for this game for about a year. He pitched it to Tim last year for Amnesia, and I think that he said that Tim was just sort of that's a really great idea, but you need more game in your game. So he's been thinking about more game, and I think he's got this great thing where.
So a lot of these projects have been bubbling in the back of someone's head for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
These were not just all right, whole cloth.
And the thing that is so great, I think, about Amnesia Fortnite, the thing that I love about it is that this is an outlet. This is not Double Fine is not special in that there are a ton of creative people working at it with a ton of ideas that have been bubbling in the back of their head that they really want to express. It's we actually have an outlet for it.
And it's not your private time. It's not
awesome.
Your weekends. It's work time, which allows you to really focus on that.
Because I guarantee that if you went into just about any game company and you were like, hey, anybody can pitch an idea. You're gonna have a 30-second pitch, and then people are gonna vote, and then we're gonna do them in 2 weeks. You'd get, we had almost half the company do it. I think that you'd have a very similar, outpouring at a different place. It might even be higher because. They don't, they haven't had this kind of outlet. It might be
you're just saying the only thing that's special is that you guys actually did it.
Yeah, is that we get to do it, which is sweet.
I think
and the people are awesome. So I don't know. I don't want to undersell the amazing staff.
But you guys actually commit the resources, find a way to make it work, and that's not easy for a lot of studios if they're not designing for that.
And I wish that I had talked more to Tim about this. But I hope by doing this in the public, I don't know if he feels this way or not, but I hope by doing this in public, other studios will be like, holy shit, that's there's tons of creative ideas. We have all these creative people. Why are we just taking the safe bet only every
out
time?
All these sequels.
Why can't
There's value in releasing prototypes too. Even if that game isn't the one, but if people respond to this very specific thing, then maybe you can go off and do something.
Yeah, and it's and I think Tim's idea actually for starting the Amnesia thing during Brutal Legend is that he sort of always wanted to have the one big game. it was really, he thought Brutal Legend would turn into like a franchise and stuff, and then we'd have sort of the smaller games that are coming out of Amnesia Fortnite, and that's like, they're just sort of like, we have this almost like little art studio or whatever that's doing these like small games and cranking them out, and sort of on the side, and that people are rotating into the big franchise and then into the like more smaller incubator thing, and then back out, which I think is really great. And I think a lot of other studios could do that have like a big cash cow, like a Naughty Dog, right? Like you could be like, okay, well, we're doing Uncharted next, but we're going to do this smaller downloadable experimental thing on the side. Right. And it's like you don't see that happen at those places. Well, I would love to see that happen.
With the games that have come out of, I feel like, I loved Psychonauts to friggin' death, but kind of it seemed like prior to the first Amnesia Fortnite that was where Double Fine as an organization, as more than just like this sort of weird extension of Tim Schafer's fucking id or whatever, actually like started feeling like, okay, this is a thing. Like the games that started coming out, like, oh wow, okay, these guys figured out who they are, or at least in the process of figuring out who they are and what they want to do, and these games that we're seeing coming out, between Iron Brigade stacking.
Costume Quest,
like all that stuff, like, oh wow, like they're figuring out how to take that personality and that uniqueness and produce something that's a smaller package that still conveys that feeling, but also allows other people in the studio to be involved on that level.
And that's super awesome. That if you look at the top 5, Lee is the only one that's led a project at Double Fine before. So we've got 4 people that are like going to be doing this for the first time, and
you guys, beyond just letting people play these prototypes and let people play the prototypes of the projects that continue to get developed in this current Amnesia Fortnite, which is a very public way of kind of showing other stuff. You guys are doing live streams from the office.
We are.
Yeah. Kind of constantly, right?
Starting tomorrow, they'll be more constant, yeah. So we've done a couple hours today and yesterday, but starting tomorrow, we're going to be on at 10 a.m. and going as long as we can, hopefully all the way through the end of the day for 2 straight weeks.
So for 2 weeks, you guys, and is this just going to be like cameras set up in the office? You're going to have like confessional style? You can have cameras following people around?
It's not very professional.
No, confessional style as far as like...
Oh, confessional. Maybe that might be a little
It's definitely not professional.
Yeah, not professional.
I mean, you showed up here to talk about it for the first time, so clearly it's not professional at all.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've got it set up in our big meeting room, and we're trying to schedule people to come through. We're not very mobile, so we can't really walk around with a camera, but hopefully, we'll just be throughout the day bringing people in, have meetings in the room. Every morning they'll be giving like status updates on what they're going to be working on that day and that kind of stuff. So hopefully,
will there be like lengthy stretches of just people just coding, just someone at a computer?
We're actually not.
That part though, where I know that you were trying to do this, I don't know if this happened, where you can actually divert the stream to somebody's desktop.
Yeah,
or
we
something.
will be doing that.
That's super cool because like
if an artist is painting or something, we might cut to them.
If there are things that people want to see, I mean they can talk about it on the forums and stuff, but like. I mean, I'd think about myself, like, going through school, like, there was nothing like this, Like, being able to be like, hey,
just seeing process.
Be like, Brandon Dillon is going to be programming stuff for the next, like, whatever, for the next hour, and you can just, like, watch him code on his desktop, and you're just like, holy shit, he's, like, writing a fucking class.
That sounds awesome.
Right in front of my eyes, and
really
he's testing it, and he's set a breakpoint, and, like, as a programming nerd, like, coming through and, like, trying to figure out how this stuff works, that would have been fucking amazing. Or, like, and then on the art side, like, being like, oh, Jeff is going to be modeling some fucking robots for Autonomous. Like, okay, he's going to be modeling and rigging, like, a robot body. Like, what?
And he'll probably get it done in an hour or two.
How does that work, And then it'll just be, like, his screen, and, and he can, like, chat with people, and, like, you'll be able to watch him work. That is fucking amazing. Like, I mean, that's so great.
As long as I've been doing this, as many people in game development that I know, it's still a fucking sausage factory to me. Like,
it totally is, right?
I don't know. I don't. Like, I understand kind of on a very abstract level, like, what people's positions are, what their jobs are, what they're responsible for, but, what that actually, when you come into the office, what does that actually mean? What is actually being done? And to be able to kind of surface some of that stuff and expose that, I think is very interesting. Are you guys going to be, do you know if you're going to be archiving any of this live stuff?
Yeah, they're all up on Twitch on our channel, so you just go there. You'll find them there.
So you can find them there. And that's open to the public. That's not like Kickstarter style.
Yep, anybody can see that. So.
And there is, though, like, 2Player Everyday is going to do, like, a dailies.
Is that what they call them? Like, if you don't want to watch 8 hours, they're going to do, like, 20-minute
edit it together.
Highlights episodes of a
and there'll
more
be one of those
easy-to-watch
every
thing.
day?
That's the idea.
Awesome.
Those guys are busy.
Yeah, they're really good.
Those guys are earning their money.
But I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of, those guys are, shout out to those guys, man.
Totally.
Holy crap.
2Player Productions, they are doing your Double Fine Adventure documentary.
And they did, there's a little Brazen sort of 5 minutes of me babbling about Brazen. You can watch that.
So let's get people again the sites, the locations they need to go to see all this stuff. To get the Amnesia Fortnite Humble Bundle, again, that's humblebundle.com/double-fine.
Yep.
So that's dash as in hyphen.
That is correct.
And that's where you can get the Amnesia Fortnite Humble Bundle, and that's going to get you the previous prototypes, Brazen, and the forthcoming 5 prototypes that will be the product of this this current Amnesia Fortnite.
Yep.
And then
live stream will be embedded right there in the top 2.
You can find live stream stuff on that site. There's also, can people go directly to Twitch?
Yeah, I think if you just click it right there, it'll take you right to Twitch, and you'll be on our channel.
You can go to twitch.tv also and see stuff there. I imagine that's where people want to go if they want to catch archive versions. Do you know where your little kind of wrap-up videos will end up living? Is that going to be?
The 2Player videos?
Yeah,
those will be on your Humble download page. So as soon as you buy in, you'll get emailed a link to that.
Okay.
And those will kind of that's where you'll get the prototypes right now and your Steam codes, and those will just populate with the videos.
Okay, so if you buy into the Humble Bundle, you're going to get all that information as part of that.
That's right.
Awesome. Greg Rice.
Yeah.
Brad Muir. An absolute pleasure to have you guys in, as always.
Dude,
sure, man.
Always love dropping by and swearing.
Super excited to see what this year's Playtime produces.
I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you guys so much for
thanks for
having us.
And thanks everyone at home for watching. That's going to do it. We'll see you later.